Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fable Joey, and I am here with an album review today, here to review Vampire Weekend's Father of the Bride. Now, this is easily my most anticipated album of the year. As some of you know, Vampire Weekend is one of my favorite bands of all time, and they have been for a really long time. And not getting music from them for 6 years was crazy. And now that they've come back, I am so excited to talk about this album because I think it's absolutely fantastic. And it's 18 songs long, so it's 57 minutes, which is just under an hour, which is so great. I think it's almost appropriate after they've been gone for so long to give us an album that is this length. I think it's really well done, and I can't wait to talk about it. Now, we waited 6 years for this album, so the very first thing that I want to say was it worth the wait? And I'd say yeah. I probably would have been a little angry if I had to wait like 7 years or like maybe another year to get this out because of like all the things leading up to it, but I really do think that it was worth the wait. It's a fantastic album, and I really can't wait to talk about it. And once again, having 18 songs to talk about is pretty difficult, so I'm really just going to talk about my favorite aspects of the album overall and give you guys my favorite tracks. So let's get right into this, and let's start with this album by talking about the two people who are featured on this album, which is Daniela Haim and Steve Lacy. And I think that these are two perfect people to have in a Vampire Weekend album. So let's start with Daniela Haim. Daniela Haim is just, her voice paired up next with Ezra's is so good together. They honestly, their vocals bounce really well off each other, and they work really well together. Every song that they sing together is one of my favorite tracks on the album because it's just a whole lot of fun, and once again, it's two very talented artists coming together and two beautiful voices coming together on these songs, so it's a lot of fun to listen to. And really every track with Daniela is just, it's so much fun, and I think that her and Ezra's voice, like really they couldn't have found someone more perfect to fit with Ezra's voice. The next person that this album features is Steve Lacy, and I think that Steve Lacy is another perfect addition to the album. He is mostly featured on the two tracks Sunflower and Flower Moon, which are fantastic. I think that he brings something to Vampire Weekend that we've never heard before, and I really appreciate that. I think he did a great job on those two songs. There are really cool guitar riffs in there, and you can tell that that's mostly thanks to things that Steve Lacy have done, and then of course Ezra. But Sunflower is a great track, and Flower Moon is one of my favorite tracks on the album. The effects that they did on Ezra and Steve's voice were really, really great, and I think it fits the track and on the album really well. So I think it was a great choice to feature two people on the album, because previous Vampire Weekend albums didn't feature other artists, and now that this one does, I really enjoy it. And if they were to do another album in the future featuring these two again, I would think that would be spectacular because the work that they have done is fantastic. Alright, so let's get into the album as a whole, the tracks that I liked, the tracks that I thought were alright. I can't wait to talk about this because honestly, I've had so much fun listening to this, and I've listened to it 3 times all the way through, so yeah, I think I have a pretty good opinion, and I know what I want to talk about. So let's go to my favorite tracks and talk about those first, starting with Big Blue. Big Blue is a super fun track. I think it fits perfectly in the album. They did something in this album that I really appreciate. They stick songs that are shorter, about 1:50, and there's like 4 or 5 of those throughout the album, and I would call it sort of a breather track. They kind of put those in every once in a while, so you'll just finish up like a 3:50 song or like a bigger song, and then you'll go to one of these, and I think it's really great. The way that they play songs in this album was really well done, because if it was all well, like I honestly think that if some of these songs weren't placed where they were, then the album wouldn't be as good as it is. But really, the placement here is absolutely fantastic. I think it's really great, and it actually adds a whole lot to the album. And Big Blue is placed perfectly. It's got great acoustic guitars and really great vocals. I really love that track. The next track that I want to talk about is How Long. And even though I've only heard it like so many times and it's still so new, it's probably one of my favorite Vampire Weekend songs to date. It's just so fun. It starts so perfectly and it ends so perfectly. It has great bass throughout the whole songs, and the bass is used really well to accompany Ezra's vocals. It actually starts with just the bass line and then Ezra comes in to sing, and I think that was a great choice. The song is so much fun to listen to, and it's got some great lines. In fact, How Long has my favorite line on the whole album. It says, "Why has it felt like Halloween since Christmas 2017?" It doesn't make a lot of sense the first time through and still doesn't, but I think it's kind of funny and it totally stood out to me the first time and I was like, I like that line. And the whole song is just great. It's got a great feel to it. So if you've never listened to Vampire Weekend before, maybe go try How Long. You might like it, you might hate it. I never know. But I really like that track. Another track that I really like is Unbearably White. Unbearably White is a whole lot of fun. A lot of people could read the title and think that maybe it's political or diversive or maybe it's like a serious track. It's not. It's like a complicated love story if you read through the lyrics, and it's really great. It's another one of my favorite Vampire Weekend songs. It was my favorite single that the band had released before the album came out, and it's easily got my favorite chorus in a Vampire Weekend song. The chorus is addictive. It's fantastic, and it's really well written. After listening to the song a couple times through, I can truly say that it's got a whole different feel to it than a lot of the songs in the album, and there's so much weird stuff going on in the background, and I love when bands do that, and they definitely did it on this track. Another track that I really like is Married in a Gold Rush. If someone would have told me that before I actually listened to the album, I probably would have gave them a funny look, because already when you hear the name of that track, to me at least, it just kind of screams country, and although it does kind of sound like a country song, I love it. It's one of the songs that features Daniela Haim, and once again, like I already said, Ezra and her voice work so well together, and it shows on this track. The chorus is fantastic, it's well written, and it works with their two voices. I think it's great. Another one would be My Mistake. Now, My Mistake is definitely one of the slower tracks on the album. It's really slow, it's really thought-provoking, but the lyrics are incredible. You might not notice it on your first listen through because it's one of the slower songs, and it's kind of like a breather track put in between two bigger ones, but I really love My Mistake. It's definitely one that I've gone back to, and I think has the most thought-provoking lyrics on the whole album. It's one that I could listen to a lot more and still not even understand that, and I really like that. I think it's a great song. Another one would be Sympathy, and Sympathy is just the craziest that Vampire Weekend has ever gotten. Honestly, if I could use one word to describe this track, it would be wild, because that's what it is. It's insane. Ezra's vocals are fantastic throughout the whole track, and it's really loud and it's out there, and I love it. I think it's really well done, and it's kind of crazy. It really is, and it definitely stands out throughout the album. I absolutely love it. And another song that I really love is Flower Moon. The effects that they use on Ezra and Steve's voice are great. Like, I already touched on Flower Moon a little bit, but it's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album, probably one of my favorite Vampire Weekend songs, and it's just so much fun to listen to. I think that Flower Moon is probably the one that I could listen to the most and not get sick of, because it's really different and it's kind of jazzy almost, and I love jazz, so I really, really enjoy it. And I got two more of my favorite tracks. Like I said, it's 18 songs, so it's got a lot, and one of them is We Belong Together. Now, this song is undeniably campy, and I absolutely love that. Once again, it's with Daniela Haim, and some people have compared it to a Disney song, and I would compare it to a Disney song too. It really does sound like that, but the campiness is meant to be there, and I absolutely love that. I think it works so well. Ezra and Daniela have fantastic lines in here, and it is honestly just such a great song. It's so cheesy, and I love it. They have this whole we belong together, and they're saying reasons why they belong together, but they're saying even though we belong together doesn't mean that we're going to stay together, and I love that because they're contradicting themselves. It's cheesy, but it's meant to be cheesy, and I love it. One of my the last favorite track I have is Spring Snow. It's so great. It's got some of my favorite lyrics on the whole album, and it's such a great song to sort of end the album with. It's not the ending track, but you can tell that it's slowing down to the conclusion with this song, and I love Spring Snow. Once again, the vocals, I think Ezra's at his best on the album here. It's probably my favorite vocals that he's given us on this album, I really love Spring Snow. I think that it's got a great tune to it, and all the synths that are used in the background are really well done, and it's a perfect accompaniment to everything else that is going on. So those are my favorite tracks. Out of 18, I honestly, there isn't a track that I could look at and be like, oh, I don't like that track very much. There really isn't. There's tracks that I like more than others, of course, but honestly, every track has something to offer here, and I absolutely love that. Vampire Weekend's Father of the Bride is unbelievable. It is so perfect. Every single song is placed really well throughout the whole album. It's really just a great comeback, because it's been 6 years, and if this album wasn't great, then that would be kind of disappointing. But it is, and I love that. A lot of people might not like this album because of the things that it tries to do. Like I said, there's a lot of different things going on here. A lot of people will think that a lot of songs don't fit with each other, but that's kind of what I love about it. You got songs that are so campy and silly, but then you got songs that are so melancholy and thought-provoking, and I think that's fantastic. I absolutely loved Father of the Bride, and I'm gonna give it an A. I think it's amazing, and I think I'm only gonna like it more over time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment your favorite Vampire Weekend tracks down below, or say your favorite album from Vampire Weekend. I would love to hear it. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.